girl brought her janitor dad to Father's Day at school. The principal froze when she saw him. When little Emma walked into her elite private school's Father's Day event, everyone turned to look. The other kids' fathers were doctors, CEOs, and lawyers, but Emma proudly held her janitor dad's hand. Some students whispered, a few laughed, even the teachers exchanged looks. But Emma didn't care. To her, her dad, Mr. Robert, was the most hardworking and loving man in the world. As they entered the hall, the school principal, Mrs. Anderson, froze the moment she saw Robert. Her face turned pale, her hands trembled, and the smile on her face disappeared. The room went silent as she whispered under her breath, "It can't be him." What secret was the principal hiding? Why did a simple janitor's presence shake her to the core? The truth that followed shocked everyone in the school and changed Emma's life forever. The morning sun bathed the grand halls of Greenwood Academy in gold. Balloons, streamers, and banners decorated every corner, reading Happy Father's Day. The school buzzed with excitement. Fathers in suits, polished shoes, and expensive watches greeted one another with firm handshakes. Emma stood quietly near the gate, clutching her handmade card. Her father, Robert, arrived wearing his usual blue janitor uniform, a little worn out but clean, his hands rough from years of work, gently fixed Emma's hair. "Ready, champ?" he asked with a smile. She nodded, smiling back. "I'm so proud you came, Dad." As they entered, whispers filled the air. "Isn't that the janitor?" one boy murmured. "Why would he even show up here?" a girl sneered. Emma lowered her gaze, but Robert squeezed her hand. "Ignore them, sweetheart. Today's about us." When they reached their table, the principal, Mrs. Anderson, approached. Her confident stride faltered the instant her eyes met Robert's. Her smile vanished, replaced by shock. "Mr. Robert," she stammered. You're Emma's father?" Robert nodded calmly. "Yes, ma'am. Is something wrong?" She shook her head quickly, forcing a smile. "And no, not at all. Welcome." But as she walked away, her expression darkened. She remembered him from years ago, from a night she had hoped to forget forever. As the games and speeches began, Emma proudly introduced her dad to everyone, despite the stares. Robert cheered for his daughter, helped arrange chairs, and even fixed a light that went out during the event. Slowly, teachers and students began to see something different, respect and admiration replacing judgment. But the principal couldn't focus. Her past was catching up, and Robert's presence meant her secret might finally be exposed after the event. Mrs. Anderson called Robert into her office. Her voice trembled. "You shouldn't have come here, Robert." Robert frowned. "Why not? My daughter studies here." Mrs. Anderson sighed heavily. "You don't understand. If people find out who you are, everything I've built will collapse." Robert's eyes narrowed. "You mean the truth about the scholarship fund, or how you stole credit for my maintenance designs years ago?" She froze. Years ago, before he became a janitor, Robert had been a maintenance engineer at a large construction firm. Mrs. Anderson, back then an ambitious administrator, had taken his safety system designs and presented them as her own, earning fame and money. When Robert confronted her, she had him fired and blacklisted. His career was destroyed, forcing him to take janitorial work just to feed Emma. Now, standing in her office, he wasn't angry, just disappointed. "I never told Emma," he said softly, "because I didn't want her to grow up with hate." Tears welled up in Mrs. Anderson's eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I was young and desperate for success." Before she could say more, the door opened and Emma stood there, hearing everything. Her eyes filled with tears as she ran to her dad. "You're not just a janitor, you're a hero," she cried. Word of the confrontation spread like wildfire. Teachers and parents who had once looked down on Robert now looked at him with new respect. The next morning, the entire school gathered in the auditorium. Mrs. Anderson stepped onto the stage, her voice trembling as she held the microphone. "Before we begin today's assembly," she said, "I owe someone a public apology." The audience murmured in confusion as she turned toward Robert. "Years ago, I took credit for Robert's work that saved lives and improved safety across multiple schools. I built my career on his brilliance while he suffered silently, but yesterday, his kindness and humility reminded me what true greatness looks like." Gasps echoed around the hall. Robert stood still, humble as ever, while Emma smiled through tears. Mrs. Anderson continued, "From this day forward, Greenwood Academy will honor him by naming our new student scholarship after Robert and his daughter Emma, to remind us that dignity and honesty matter more than status." The entire hall erupted in applause. Even the children who once mocked Emma lined up to apologize. Robert knelt beside his daughter. "See, sweetheart, you never need to be ashamed of who you are." Emma hugged him tightly. "I never was, Dad. You're my hero." As they walked out together, the janitor's uniform didn't look ordinary anymore. It looked like a badge of honor. "If this story touched your heart," Share it with someone who needs a reminder that true worth isn't measured by money or titles, but by character, sacrifice, and love. Subscribe for more heart-touching stories like this.